Before the great cities, before the mighty empires, before recorded history, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, surviving off the land only with what nature provided. They moved with the seasons, hunted wild animals, gathered fruits and roots, and left behind whispers of their lives in the forms of cave paintings and stone tools. But then something changed, an event so revolutionary it would transform the course of human history forever. It wasn't sudden, not a single moment. It unfolded gradually, perhaps imperceptibly to those who lived through it. But its effects were profound. This was humanity's greatest turning point, the moment we chose to shape the land rather than follow it. Welcome to Episode 1 of the History of Civilizations, the birth of civilization. For thousands of years, early humans led a nomadic existence. They traveled in small, tightly knit groups of families and clans, relying on their ability to hunt animals and forage for plants to survive. A herd of migrating deer or the seasonal appearance of ripened fruits dictated their movements. They used simple tools made of stone to prepare their food, to protect themselves, and to adapt to their environment, not as its master, but as part of it. And when night fell, families gathered around fires, creating bonds and passing knowledge through oral stories. Their cultures were deep, though their lives were simple. They painted their fears, dreams, and hunting achievements on cave walls, a kind of visual storytelling that helped future generations understand their world. But even as humans thrived in this way of life, change was brewing on the horizon. Around 10,000 BCE, something extraordinary began. It's known today as the Agricultural Revolution, and it was the foundation on which all civilization would be built. It didn't happen in just one place, but rather in several regions across the world. Mesopotamia, the Nile Valley, the Indus River Valley, and East Asia, among others. Humans began to observe the rhythm of nature, recognizing patterns of growth and change. Slowly, they learned to cultivate grains like wheat and barley, and later, rice and millet. Instead of gathering wild plants, they planted seeds themselves. Instead of chasing herds of animals, they tamed wild goats, sheep, and cattle. The significance of farming cannot be understated. For the first time in human history, people could produce more food than they immediately needed. This surplus meant fewer people had to spend their days hunting and gathering. Populations grew, and humans began to settle permanently in fertile areas, transforming them into hubs of life. These were the beginnings of villages and towns. Take Jericho, located in the Jordan River Valley, believed to be one of the oldest settlements in the world, its walls standing as a testament to humanity's ingenuity 10,000 years ago. Or consider Çatalhöyük in Anatolia, where people built connected houses, decorated their walls with vivid art, and practiced early forms of trade. These settlements were far more than places to sleep. They were centers of innovation. Now that survival wasn't their only concern, humans invented new ways to live. Tools designed specifically for farming, such as plows, were developed. Homes became sturdier structures, capable of weathering storms and storing food. New roles emerged within societies. Leaders organized tasks, builders constructed homes, artisans crafted goods for trade, and trade itself became an essential part of life. No longer isolated, communities exchanged goods, ideas, and technologies, weaving webs of connection that would expand across continents. But why did human settlements thrive in certain regions while others remained small and mobile? The answer is simple: rivers. Civilizations were born on their banks. The life-giving waters of the Nile, the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus, and the Yellow River shaped humanity's story. Rivers were an answer to the most basic needs: water to drink, and fertile soil to grow crops. Their annual floods refreshed agricultural lands. But why did human settlements thrive in certain regions while others remained small and mobile? The answer is simple: rivers. Civilizations were born on their banks. The life-giving waters of the Nile, the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus and the Yellow River shaped humanity's story. Rivers were an answer to the most basic needs: water to drink and fertile soil to grow crops. Their annual floods refreshed agricultural lands, ensuring food supplies remained abundant. They were also highways, connecting far-flung groups who could share goods and knowledge. Watch as Jericho fills up with trade goods. Boats carried grain from villages perched along their banks, opening the door to commerce and communication. Transporting firepower upriver centuries later, you are part of the story. Ensuring food supplies remained abundant. They were also highways, connecting far-flung groups who could share goods and knowledge. Watch as Jericho fills up with trade goods. Boats carried grain from villages perched along their banks, opening the door to commerce and communication. Transporting firepower upriver centuries later, you are part of the story. These settlements along rivers weren't just towns. They grew into cities. And cities are what truly mark the beginning of civilization. With larger populations came new challenges, and humans rose to meet them. Societies began organizing themselves, assigning roles, creating rules, and establishing ways to collaborate. Now, rather than having every person hunt or farm, communities found ways to specialize labor. Potters shaped vessels to store food. Builders constructed sturdy homes. Traders navigated rivers and pathways to bring in valuable goods. A surplus of food meant individuals could focus their time on honing specific skills, leading to rapid innovation. The major early civilizations, what was that bubble? I'll set. Leadership also began to emerge. At first, the decisions might have been made by councils of elders or charismatic individuals chosen by the community. Over time, the role of leadership became more formal. Chiefs and kings appeared, administration was born, and leaders took responsibility for the organization and protection of their people. This included organizing large projects, like building walls for defense or irrigation schemes for farming. And from necessity, another transformative innovation emerged: writing. Early humans developed systems of record-keeping, like the Sumerian cuneiform and Egyptian hieroglyphs, to track harvests, taxes, and transactions. Writing turned knowledge into something that could last long after its author was gone. It marked the transition from prehistory to history itself. From bands of hunter-gatherers roaming the wild to bustling cities with specialized labor and organized leadership, humanity had taken its first monumental steps towards civilization. These advances were not random acts, but the result of thousands of years of experimentation, adaptation, and ingenuity. But this was just the beginning. The foundations were in place, and soon humanity would go even further, building great cities and empires. In our next episode, we'll dive into the story of the world's first civilization, Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers. Like, share, and subscribe to follow this incredible journey through history. Because the story of who we were is the story of who we've become.